look at this question from the A-level past papers. So the element strontium forms a nitrate. So we have a strontium nitrate, which decomposes on heating as shown below in this equation or reaction. So we have strontium nitrate giving us strontium oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen. So using oxidation numbers explain why the reaction involves both oxidation and reduction. So what we do here is we need to show how one element went through oxidation, so its oxidation state increased, and another element in which its oxidation state decreased, which means it was reduced. Okay, so easiest thing to look at first would be oxygen, because we know that oxygen is always -2 or always has an oxidation state of -2, except if it's in a peroxide, then it would have an oxidation state of -1. So if it's a peroxide, oxygen would be -1, but otherwise it's always going to be -2 in a molecule, and we know that it's always 0 in its elemental state. So we can quickly demonstrate or show that oxygen went from -2 to 0, so it was oxidized. Its oxidation state increased by 2. So oxygen was -2 and became 0. So again, that means it was oxidized. And then looking at nitrogen, we need to show that it was reduced. Now it's a tiny bit more complicated, but we'll go through the steps. So you have a nitrogen trioxide, and we know that the overall charge of this ion is -1. Okay, so again, we need to identify what's the oxidation state of nitrogen is. We know oxygen is always -2, and nitrogen is, we don't know, it's X or N. So 2 times, actually let's put it as X. And oxygen, -2 times 3 gives us an overall of -6, and we need to add that to the oxidation state of nitrogen to get an overall charge of -1, like we see here. So very simple math, we got an oxidation state of 5 for nitrogen. Okay, so we know nitrogen was initially +5, and we need to see or show or find out what's the oxidation state of nitrogen dioxide is in the reactants, product side. So nitrogen dioxide, it has an overall charge of 0. Again, we know oxygen is very easy, it's always -2. And nitrogen we need to find out. Again, 2 times 2, we have 2 nitrogen atoms. So 2 times -2, we got -4. Again, nitrogen still unknown. So we need to be able to add these oxidation states to get an overall charge of 0. Very simple maths. We get +4. So Nitrogen went from +5 to +4, so it decreased. So it was reduced. Nitrogen was +5, ended up being +4, so it was reduced. ED. And that's how you got the 3 marks. So 1 mark for identifying the oxidation state change in oxygen, 2nd mark for nitrogen, and then 3rd mark for the terms showing what was oxidized and what was reduced. And that's basically it.